Hotel Horror Story Room 307. Part 1. The Check-In. If you ever stay in an old hotel and hear someone knocking on your door at exactly 3:07 a.m., do not answer, especially if the front desk tells you that room 307 has been empty for 20 years, because that's exactly what happened to me, and 3 people died because I didn't listen. I never believed in ghosts. I was a travel photographer, always driving from city to city, sleeping in cheap motels and old hotels. 3 years ago, during a storm in northern Colorado, my car broke down. The rain was so heavy that I could barely see the road. My phone had no signal, and the nearest town was almost 20 miles away. Then I saw it, an old 7-story hotel standing alone beside the highway. The sign read, "The Ashwood Grand Hotel." Half the letters were burned out. It looked abandoned, but lights were on inside. I had no choice. I parked and walked through the rain. The lobby was strangely warm. A woman in her 60s sat behind the desk. She looked at me with tired eyes. "Need a room?" she asked. I nodded. She handed me an old metal key. "Room 312. Then she said something strange. "Whatever you do, don't answer your door if someone knocks at 3:07. I laughed. She didn't. "Seriously," she said. "No matter what you hear." I thought it was some weird hotel joke. I took the key and went upstairs. The hallway smelled old. The wallpaper was peeling. There were only 2 other occupied rooms, room 308 and room 315. I entered my room and dropped my bags. The place looked like it hadn't been renovated since the 1970s. I was exhausted. I showered and went to sleep. I woke up suddenly. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks. I checked my phone. 3:07 a.m. I immediately remembered the woman's warning. Then I heard a girl's voice. "Please, help me." Another knock. "I think I'm lost." I froze. The voice sounded young, maybe 10 years old. I walked toward the door. Then another voice came from the hallway. A man shouting, "Don't open it." Silence. Then scratching. Something was dragging its nails across my door. I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. No girl, no man, nothing. Then, a pale face suddenly appeared in the peephole. A little girl. Her eyes were completely black. I stumbled backward. The knocking stopped. Then I heard footsteps, slowly walking away. The next morning, I rushed downstairs. The woman behind the desk looked at me. "You heard her?" I nodded. "Who is she?" The woman became pale. 20 years ago, a family stayed here. Their daughter disappeared from room 307. What happened to her? No one knows. She looked toward the stairs. But every night at 3:07, she looks for someone to let her in. I laughed nervously. Ghost stories. The woman didn't smile. 3 guests opened their doors. What happened? They vanished. I suddenly didn't feel like laughing anymore. Then I noticed something. There was no room 307. The hallway numbers went. I frowned. Where's room 307? Part 2. The Missing Room. I should have left. Instead, curiosity kept me there. I spent the day taking photographs around the hotel. An old janitor approached me. "You shouldn't stay another night." "Why?" He looked around before answering. "Because she found you." I asked him about room 307. He sighed. Then he told me the truth. 20 years earlier, a family checked into room 307. A father, a mother, and their daughter, Emily. At 3:07 a.m., guests heard screaming. When the staff entered the room, the parents were dead, and Emily was gone. No body, no blood, nothing. The room was later sealed. Then strange things started happening. Guests reported hearing a child knocking at their doors. People disappeared. Eventually, the hotel closed. Years later, it reopened. But room 307 was removed from the building plans. The wall where it had been was sealed. Yet every employee knew. The room still existed. Somewhere. That night I couldn't sleep. At 3:07 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. I ignored it. Then came a whisper. "Please, I'm cold." I covered my ears. The knocking became louder. Then, bang, bang, bang. The entire door shook. Suddenly I heard screaming from down the hall. A man yelling. I opened my door. Room 315's door was open. The guest inside was gone. Only his suitcase remained. Then I saw something impossible. At the end of the hallway, a door had appeared. Number. The little girl stood beside it, smiling. Then she stepped inside. The door slowly closed. I should have run. Instead, I followed her. I opened the door. Inside was a hotel room, but it looked decades old. The air was freezing. Then I heard crying. I turned around. A woman sat in the corner. Her throat was cut. Next to her was a dead man. Then they both looked at me. Their eyes opened. Help her, they whispered. A little hand touched my shoulder. I turned. Emily stood behind me. Her black eyes were gone. Now she looked normal. She whispered. He never left. Then the closet door slowly opened. Something inside moved. Part 3. The thing in room 307. The closet door creaked open. A tall figure crawled out. Not a person. Something wearing human skin. Its arms were too long. Its smile stretched from ear to ear. Emily screamed. Run. The creature charged. I slammed the door and ran into the hallway. But the hallway wasn't the hotel anymore. Everything was dark. All the doors were numbered. Every door began knocking. Thousands of knocks. Then every door opened. The missing guests stepped out. Their eyes were black. They whispered, "Stay with us." I ran. The creature followed. Its footsteps shook the floor. I finally saw the lobby. I jumped through the doorway. Suddenly, silence. I was back in the real hotel. The old woman and the janitor stood there. They looked terrified. You went inside. The janitor whispered. I nodded. Then it knows your name. The lights went out. 3:07 a.m. A child's voice whispered beside my ear. He's coming. Then we heard knocking. Not on a door. From inside the walls. Bang. 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 The walls cracked. A door appeared. The creature stepped out. The old woman threw gasoline on it. The janitor lit a match. The room exploded into flames. The creature screamed. Then everything went dark. The hotel burned to the ground. Only 3 people survived. Me, the janitor, and the old receptionist. Before she died months later, she told me one final thing. The room isn't gone. What do you mean? She smiled subtly. It moves. Then she whispered, when you hear knocking at 3:07, never answer. Last month, I checked into a hotel in another state at exactly 3:07 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. A little girl's voice spoke from the hallway. Please, let me in. And on the door's peephole, someone had scratched a number, 307. The end.